Good evening and welcome to the English News Program. NTV wants to help you understand the major news events of the past week by providing them in English. My name is Danny Wolf. A state visit from President Lee Myung-bak of the Republic of Korea began last Monday in Ulaanbaatar. Last year marked the 20th anniversary of the Mongolian-Korean diplomatic relations, and President Elbek underlined that Mongolia considers the Republic of Korea as one of its third neighbors and a close partner in the region. The Korean president and his wife were welcomed in Sukbatar Square by President Elbek and his wife Bolorma. Afterwards, they traveled to the government house, where they shared views of widening the bilateral relations and cooperations of the two countries, particularly in green development, climate change, and regional and international issues. On Tuesday, Prime Minister S. Batbold met with the Korean president to discuss a joint project to build a coal plant near the Baganor mine in order to reduce air pollution in Ubi City. Also discussed was jointly erecting additional factories to process liquid fuel and copper so Mongolia can manufacture value-added products from its own mineral deposits. In a later meeting held between the heads of states, it was agreed upon that a soft loan of $300 million will be given to Mongolia from the South Korean government to support economic growth and human development. U.S. Vice President Joe Biden arrived in Mongolia on Monday to pay an official visit. This is the second visit by a U.S. Vice President, with the first one being made in 1944 by Henry Wallace. Prime Minister S. Batbold welcomed Mr. Biden with the Guards of Honor, who played both countries' national anthems. As the 47th Vice President of the United States, Joe Biden has taken the lead in important issues facing the nation, including implementing the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act, helping to build the economy, and lay the foundation for a sustainable economic future. He continues to draw from his vast foreign policy experience and advises the president on a multitude of international issues. Expressing satisfaction with his visit to Mongolia, Mr. Biden stated that the Mongolian-USA relationship is based on common interests and there is much support for each other. He went on to say, the success of Mongolia for building democracy is highly appreciated not only by the United States, but other countries as well. We have been seeing successful democracy in Mongolia for the last 20 years. In particular, the elections have been carried out without injustice. He also spoke on the close cooperation in many spheres and expressed gratitude to Mongolia for sending troops to UN peacekeeping operations to hotspots in the world that are fighting against terrorism. He noted the U.S. considers Mongolia as one of its important partners in the region and is open to accept any initiatives or proposals from Mongolia concerning the United States. Moreover, Mr. Biden pointed out that establishing an agreement on transparency between the countries would be a good start to creating a free trade agreement. Moreover, Mr. Biden pointed out that establishing an agreement on transparency between the countries would be a good start for creating a free trade agreement, and also promised to look into visa-free visits for Mongolian citizens. After the official talks, the U.S. delegation watched a small festival of Mongolian traditional sports. A high-ranking Communist Party official began a state visit to Mongolia on Tuesday. Prime Minister S. Batbold welcomed Zhu Yukang, a member of the Political Standing Committee of the Communist Party of China, and the Secretary of the CPC Central Political and Legislative Committee. Mr. Zhao Yukang's visit is crucial to fostering cooperation between the two countries. The two sides confirmed their aspirations to widen the Mongolian-China strategic partnership and to enrich it with new content and objective collaboration. The Chinese side also wants to cooperate with Mongolia in expanding collaboration and ties in the fields of mining, erecting an oil refinery, railway, transit transportation, agriculture, food safety, border patrol, communication, and information. Thus, a memorandum on the construction of an oil refinery will be signed during the visit. Also, the Chinese side will grant non-refundable aid of 10 million yuan to Mongolia. Both sides discussed issues on expanding the cooperation between legislative bodies and local administrations, as well as cooperations in youth development, political parties, the environment, culture, and education. Following the meeting, Parliament Speaker Dembruth received the Chinese official and says he has an aspiration to widen ties between the Parliament and the National People's Congress. Mr. Yongkong underlined China has aspirations to deepen the bilateral strategic partnership by implementing works discussed at the government level and to enrich them with new content and objective joint works. He also visited an eye clinic that is sponsored by the Chinese government, as well as a groundbreaking ceremony for the new Yarmag apartment block, which the Chinese government is helping to finance. His visit continued through August 26th. The rapid industrial development of Mongolia has caused a sharp shortage of qualified personnel in the country. As a result, the government is creating a new program to educate its workforce for specialized skills that are in high demand. Despite a strong demand for employees in different areas of the economy, the unemployment rate remains high due to lack of expertise. The Mongolian Ministry of Culture, Science, and Education recently came to an agreement with other ministries and successfully signed contracts with future overseas partners to receive applications from Mongolian students. These agreements will help increase workers' expertise in many different fields, which include railway, transport, construction, and agriculture. Educational training programs for employment had existed in Mongolia until 1990. The transition to a market economy caused a negative effect among employment as it was no longer up to the government to supply education to the needed workforce. Today, all job applications are now presented to the Ministry of Education so proper training can be realized and supported. The owners of large companies are obligated to employ 70 to 80% of their workforce to Mongolian citizens. The Ministry of Food and Agriculture and the Ministry of Textile Industries have estimated 10,000 jobs are available for qualified applicants in Mongolia. This year, the ministries have signed employment and educational contracts and promised to create more decisive measures to prevent increased unemployment among the Mongolian population. A press conference was held on Tuesday by the Ministry of Nature, Environment, and Tourism regarding the export of 203 live Altai falcons. Each falcon will sell for $11,760 for a total of $2.2 million. The total number of Altai falcons in Mongolia is 6,830. There are around 60 species of falcons in the world, and 9 of which can be found in Mongolia. The Altai falcon is very desirable worldwide, and 45% of the total population can be found in Mongolia. According to the agreement, the sale of falcons will go to numerous Arab countries, and the falcons will come from the Animal Protection Foundation, who has studied the birds for over 3 years. Initially, the government decided not to sell falcons this year, but it was overturned in a decision earlier this month. Organizations and people have complained to the ministry over this change due to conservation and rare bird protections. Mongolia is the only country to legally sell falcons under the CITES agreement because of its healthy falcon population. Since 2000, Mongolia has exported 2,751 falcons and generated revenue of $18.4 million. The government insists it will provide the most favorable conditions to increase falcon populations. Thank you for joining us tonight. See you next week on English News. On behalf of the NTV News team, I'm Danny Wolf saying good evening.
Бүгдийг бас чухлыг дуулгалаа. Дараагийн 7 хоногт энэ цагтаа уулзлаа. Баяртай үзэгчдээ.